We're at the Cancer Control Society conference. Can you talk about your experience with cancer and how much you see in patients?
I see more cancer than I would like to see.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't say that in that I wish less people with cancer would come to me for my help. I'm more than happy to work with anybody. It's just it's too bad that this many people have cancer, and heart disease. And as far as which one's the top, uh, it's being misrepresented because in the United States you're only allowed to die of one thing. So when there's a death certificate, it says cause of death.
Hmm.
And cause of death doesn't get written in, died of stage 4 cancer, also had advanced cardiovascular disease. That's not in there. So when they say that heart disease is a leading cause of death, or cancer, depending on which group you're talking about, they're very close. The truth of the matter is, lots of people that die with one have the other, and it's
Right.
which one that they decide to make the cause of death. But as far as what do I see, um, we're not eating the way we should be eating, no matter which group you listen to. I mean, I don't care if you're looking at a vegetarian, if you're
Hmm.
looking at a paleo group, if you're looking at a macrobiotic diet group, no matter who you talk to, if you said, well, is the population eating the way it should be eating? No. And everybody will agree with some things. Everybody will agree that we're not growing things correctly. So whether we're talking about birds or fish or mammals, or whether we're talking about fruits or whether we're talking about vegetables, the amount or percentage of those that are being produced in the way they should be in order for them to be healthy so that any animal eating them would be healthy is not happening. We shouldn't have the word organic. There was no organic 200 years ago.
Hmm.
Everything was organic. We hadn't developed chemical fertilizers yet. From what I was told, and I'd love to read some of the historical books, that when people were coming across the country, they would live in a place for only maybe 2 years, after which the things they were planting would no longer be healthy. And they didn't know all sorts of methods of working on that at the very beginning. So they would simply move and maybe not go that far away until the soil, where the soil hadn't been depleted yet from their crops, and now everything's healthy again for a couple of years. Well, we just put all sorts of chemicals in, but the chemicals that we put in, unless they're organic manures and dehydrated fish and all sorts of other different things, we're putting in those chemicals, NPK, it's the three numbers that are on every bag of fertilizer, which represent nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus,
Hmm.
the amount of those chemicals that will make the plant look good. That's fine if you're displaying plants, but when they're being grown for food, it should be the amount of whatever is necessary to make the health of who's going to eat that plant correct, which we're not doing. So all of these things are not getting the minerals they're supposed to. We're putting poisons all over them. Then, of course, people bathe themselves in poisons. So people will put cancer-causing creams all over their body to prevent skin cancer.
Hmm.
They'll put shampoos and cream rinses and other things in their hair to get rid of the various different dirt and oils, without knowing enough to look at the labels and go, a half a dozen of the things in here are on the list for further study for causing cancer, for causing neurological diseases. We put automatic poison dispensers in our homes. You plug them into the wall, and X number of times an hour, they display or emit a small amount of something to make your room smell better. Because we have the idea that if the room doesn't smell good, putting another chemical on top of the one that didn't smell good somehow makes it healthier for us. So we are so overloaded with poisons and so consuming of foods that were not designed to be healthy, they're just designed to look good, that the body can't take it. And cancer is one of the main things that happens from all of these toxins coming in. We got
Hmm.
major poisons coming into the body. Plus, our body produces toxins. Actually, if you look up the word toxin, it's referring to something the body produces. So it should be poisons and toxins. I use them interchangeably because the public thinks of them interchangeably. So if we can't get rid of all the toxicity in our body, and we've got toxicity and poisons coming in all the time, and the foods that we're eating don't supply the nutrients they're supposed to support the body's ability to both do its job and to help the kidneys and liver, which are our main detox agents, to do their job, or detox organs, what ends up happening? Neurological diseases because the poisons build up, cancer because the immune system is depressed, major emotional problems because of overloads of different poisons and not enough different nutrients. And so we are causing probably the vast majority, if not all, of the cancer that we're having to treat. And even if you go to the places that I don't love, like the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, that had the nerve a number of years ago to change their name to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, when they don't know what prevention is. They call a mammogram prevention. Mammogram prevention, let's see. It found cancer, okay, it didn't prevent it. It didn't find cancer, okay, it didn't prevent it. So I'm not sure how that's preventive. But between them and the National Institutes of Health and all these various different institutions, some of these groups, including CDC, including some of the cancer groups that I don't like, will freely admit that one group will say 40 to 60% of cancers are preventable. Another group will say 60 to 80% of cancers are preventable. But are they trying to educate the public and how? No, there's no money in it. So they'll say that because it's a question. Well, how many of cancers that we have these days are actually preventable, could be prevented if people stayed away from the various things preventing it? Oh, we believe it's, and they fill in the blank. But then look and see, what are they doing to educate, to get people to do that? Oh, people won't do that. Do we know that? How about give the people legitimate information and let the population decide who wants to make the changes and who does not want to make the changes? And that's the reason for my website. That's why there's nothing for sale on my entire website. I get comments from people all the time on that. It's such a pleasure. You're not pushing a multi-level product. You're not trying to get me to sign up and give you an email address. I don't even ask for your email address. I mean, nothing. It's just, here's the facts. And if you would like to change your life, learn some of them and incorporate some of them into your lifestyle.